Have you ever felt like your hairbrush is literally fighting you? I mean, really working against you? You are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to finally untangle the huge difference between a detangling brush and a styling brush, so you can win that battle against knots and frizz for good.
Okay, let's just jump right in. If you have natural hair, you have absolutely had this moment. You're standing in the bathroom, brush in hand, and you're thinking, am I about to help my hair, or am I about to completely wreck it? It sounds like such a simple question, right? But getting it wrong can have some pretty serious consequences.
And seriously, you are not the only one who's confused by this. But here's the thing. Using the wrong brush at the wrong time isn't just going to lead to a bad hair day. It can actually cause real long-term damage. Which brings us right to our first section, the damaging mistake. Let's talk about what actually happens when you reach for the wrong tool for the job. Okay, so here it is. This is the big one. The crucial mistake so many of us make is grabbing a dense styling brush to try and rip through tangled hair. I mean, this is just a recipe for disaster. It leads to breakage, it creates more frizz, and you get that totally heartbreaking sight of a brush just full of hair that should be on your head. So, how do we avoid this whole hairy situation? Well, you do it by calling in the prep team. It's time to get to know the detangling brush. This is your first line of defense against all that damage. The key to understanding this brush is right here in the definition. Its only job, its whole purpose, is to gently remove knots and shed hair with as little pulling as possible. We're talking finesse here, not force. This prep team idea is just perfect, isn't it? It completely captures what this brush does. It's the team that gets your hair ready for the main event, creating this smooth, totally tangle-free canvas for whatever styling masterpiece you're about to create. All right, so let's break down its job description. Its main duties? Removing knots and all that shed hair. But here is the absolute secret to its success. It works best on wet or damp hair loaded up with a good conditioner. That makes it a total must-have for wash days, and because it's so gentle, it's a lifesaver for those of us with tender scalps. You know, this quote from Mish Switch over at HairBrushy is a total game changer. Listen to this. If your brush fights your curls before you even add product, it's not a detangler, it's a stress test. If you're wrestling with your hair before you've even started styling, you're not using a detangler. You're just putting your hair through a stress test that, let's be honest, it's pretty much guaranteed to fail. So once that prep team has worked its magic and everything is smooth, it's time to bring in the closers. Let's talk about the styling brush, the tool that takes your hair from just prepped to perfectly polished. Exactly. So if the detangler is your prep team, the styling brush is your closer. It's your sculptor's tool. This is the artist that comes in and shapes your now tangle-free hair into a masterpiece of definition and style. And just check out its resume. It's pretty impressive. It defines curls and curl clumps, distributes styling products so they're even, controls frizz and flyaways, and creates that perfect tension you need for a blowout. These are all finishing touches, and they are basically impossible to do right on tangled hair. Contributor Stacy B gives us this brilliant comparison. Think of a detangler as a wide-tooth comb's smarter, way gentler cousin. A styling brush, on the other hand, that's a precision instrument. It's for crafting the exact look you want. Okay, so now that we've met both players in this game, let's put them side by side in the brush showdown. This is gonna make the differences crystal clear. So let's start with the big picture, the main event. A detangler's mission is to get knots out of wet hair. A styler's goal is to create definition and shape in damp or dry hair. Honestly, understanding this one fundamental difference is going to change your entire hair routine. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty with this chart. Just look at the difference in purpose, removing knots versus defining curls. And that when to use row, that highlights the critical order of things. Detangle first, then style. Even the bristles are totally different. Flexible and spread out for detangling, but dense and firm for styling. And maybe the most important takeaway is right there at the bottom, the common mistakes. Using a detangler on dry hair? Not very effective. But using a styler to detangle? That's a straight-up recipe for breakage. I know, that was a pretty deep dive. So let's make this super simple. Here is the one golden rule that will make choosing the right brush an absolute no-brainer from now on. This little decision tree right here is your new best friend. Seriously, just ask yourself two simple questions. First, am I working with wet hair to get rid of knots? If the answer is yes, you grab your detangler.
If no, ask the second question. Am I styling damp or dry hair with a product? If that's a yes, it's time for your styling brush. See, it's really that easy.
But what if you're in the middle of styling and you hit a snag? You've got your styling brush out, you're trying to create your look, but your hair is still tangled. What do you do then? The expert advice could not be more clear. Stop. Just stop. Don't try to force it. Go back to the detangling step. That warning to not lose your edges is not a joke. It is a serious reminder of the damage you can do. So here's the final thought I want to leave you with. Your brush is a tool, not a test. Choose wisely.